Hello, everyone. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much to every single coach that's been part of the CCC in the past, as well as welcoming every single one of you to season 3 of the CCC. We have really big plans for the future of the CCC, so we really appreciate you being part of this journey. And without further ado, let's just get these power rankings started. See ya. Welcome, everyone, to another CCC Power Rankings, this time for Season 3. And holy moly, these teams are insane. I think everyone has learned from the previous season, and now, everyone is just like better prepared this time around. But hello, we got the crew over here. We got Nick. Say hello, Nick.
What's up?
We got Jake.
Hello.
And we got Luke, of course.
And we have the reigning champion.
Yes.
Yeah. We can't skip that. We can't skip that because it's the first video since we have. It's the first video since season 2.
This is since the finals.
Wow. And it's been about 6 months since we did the last power rankings. So a lot has changed. The title has changed hands to my good friend that way, Sebastian. Congratulations on your season 2 win.
Thank you.
And like you say, let's get into these absolutely cracked season 3 teams.
Yeah, and I think before we start that, I think it's worth noting that because everyone's team is really good. Like, this is sort of graded on a curve to an extent. So some of these might seem lower than average, but they're still probably better than last season's, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
I think
and
the format
to get it
is definitely going to what's the word? Exaggerate it a lot. Last season's format, I think, played really well. And then we just decided to break it because it's the last season on Sword and Shield. Hopefully, fingers crossed, please, Jesus. So we were like, let's just do. Last season was really fun, but you know what? Let's just make it broken and add all the ones that we're probably not going to be able to use in Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah,
that's it. So still no Dynamax, which does make a difference to certain Pokemon. But
correct.
Obviously now we've got these broken ass, not just legends, but mythicals. Because why not, right?
We've swapped a C tier for a legend.
That, my friend, is ridiculous.
So I was lucky enough to get first in the draft.
Yep.
So
the one and only.
I'll let you guys take it away.
All right. I mean, just look at this team. You look at the first 3 Pokemon, and it's like, oh well. He's got the Cinderace. He's got the Marshadow. Yeah, and Marshadow is just like super strong with those priority like technician moves. It's just too much between like Shadow Sneak and does he get like Bullet Punch and stuff? Probably does.
No, I think the only priority it gets is Shadow Shadow Sneak. So
fair enough.
You're all safe.
Yeah, but it's still stab and like not much resist ghost. So like. It's the only one it needs, right?
Yeah, it's also super fast. So,
125 base. But no, 125 base attack stat. It is really nice typing. Last season, I struggled because I didn't have a fighting type or a good offensive fighting type on my team. I tried Persimmon for a week and then swapped it out because I needed more defense. So picking the fighting type in the L tier kind of like solidified the rest of the team because I think everyone needs a fighting type. Mainly because they get like the good stuff like fake out and knock off and usually like priority moves. And they're normally really good on the attacking side as well. And who's catching a close combat? Not many.
Yeah, well, technically you got 2 fighting types this time around. You know, that high jump kick Cinderace is going to destroy lives
Cinderace
as well.
is pseudo-fire. So basically you can knock Cinderace out of the calc equation pretty much because, like you say, it changes type every turn. I learned my lesson. I got wrecked with it in the final, so I was like, right, I'm just picking it.
Yeah, that's it.
Very true.
You can't beat them, right?
Yeah. This seems really
you
good. I'm blown away by it. The type chart again, like do you just look at the type chart? It's like it's by far like the prettiest type chart in my eyes. It's just so much green and so little red. And then like this team synergizes so well with each other. Like each mon plays off of each other like really well, and there's not a solid like as for sure like set Pokemon you're always gonna bring. And yeah, you can you can like hone in on the Marshadow, but there's so much more power you have and so much more adaptability that you can do to work around Marshadow that it's literally scary. And that's if you can stop the Marshadow. Like the Marshadow is there's a reason why it was first pick, and it was literally when we literally decided to add legends, we all said, "Oh no, Marshadow is broken." And luckily Jake got first pick. So yeah, no, I mean this Marshadow is going to be broken. So the challenge is to stop this Marshadow and see what else is going to go. But I will say one more thing, though. My only issue with this team, and I know Jake might get a little upset. It's the Hydreigon, man. It just dies.
I know it's the issue.
It just dies. It dies to a disarming voice, man. Like it doesn't. Scared.
It lives on like 10.
There you go. Hey, but no, like that's my only issue with the Hydreigon.
No, that was my fun pick. It will be first to be dropped if the season gets serious or if I'm getting too carried away. But it's my mascot. I wanted to use it, and the team is built around it. So what you will see in the top 4 is for every one of Hydreigon's weaknesses, there is an immunity or a resistance. So there's always a swapping to get it out of there if it needs to. It's built around Fluffy, and Fluffy will take lives. I'm telling you now. I'm standing out. Fluffy will take lives.
Okay.
Another point is that you balanced out the speed tiers quite well. So you could go like either Tailwind, Trick Room, or just like, whatever you freaking
I think it was
want.
very important.
So
yeah, very important from last season was I did a lot of very high speed mons. I think everything was like 90. So I definitely this season it was brought to my attention that I'm gonna need some slower mons. So yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the draft. Bear in mind, only 4 of those mons were actually on my original team sheet, so I got sniped a lot.
Who did?
I feel you, man. I feel you.
But we'll come to that.
I
think that's enough for me, right?
It's worth noting the Hydreigon, like you mentioned that being a problem, like the stats you get off it and the possibilities with that being an A tier, it is still a great A tier pickup, even if it is 4 times weak to fairy. So like I get that. But the defense stats from Jake's team, if you just go back to the previous screen save, you can see like average physical offense is physical defense is 87 and special being 91. Those are some high averages. Okay, like forget types. This team is bulky. It's going to take a lot to take it down, and that Weezing Galar as well, I think, adds so much utility to the team. It's not just all power and stats and stuff like that. There's some stuff you're going to have to navigate as well with it.
I am sick of ability abuse. God. But yeah,
right,
I think that's enough on my team.
But overall,
let's not pick up even more.
Go to the Bay State Beedrills, which is
I don't know if we said
official first match. Oh, no, first draft. Sorry.
Seb, I'm just jumping in. I don't know if we even mentioned what the final score was. The scores, down in the bottom left-hand corner. So for it's average out of all of us. Obviously, we're not voting for our own, but Jake with the Hydreigons getting a 9 because it's just
9
great.
all around.
What did I get last season? Close to a 9 as well.
Something similar, yeah.
I have no idea.
It was an 8 or a 9. Good drafts. I've enjoyed the drafts for the past few seasons. Okay, Shay.
Bay's first official season drafting herself, Interesting pick up the Zerker tree. I was not expecting it. but I'm guessing she's got some plans for it. Whimsicott is just a great pick. Look at Nick's face.
I wanted Whimsicott so badly. So
First
badly.
official snipe, and it was only pick 2.
Oh,
Yep.
man. I'm so mad when Shay told me that she was taking it. And she even did it 3 hours before the draft, and it was still hurting by the time we got to it. Sorry, I'll try and shut up.
No, it's fine. It's
No,
fine.
it's all
You
good.
vent that anger, Nick. We're allowed. This is a safe space where no one else can tell us what.
Sorry, my only complaint about this team is all the weaknesses. It's just there are too many.
Yeah.
You could just pick one slot to go through, and I think you could just go through the team. Although she does have like pretty good mons, like the weakness policy Gudra with Comfey is really nice. Mr. Mime Galler is also really nice.
Yeah, so this team could do whatever it wants. It's just I feel like unfortunately with the type chart, she's gonna have to play defensive a lot of the weeks. Because she's got full speed control, she's got she does have terrain control as well. Because the one thing that you need with that Xurkitree, if she'd have got a Rillaboom, that Xurkitree would have been laughing. Because then you've got 173 with no weakness. And it's just crazy. It is slightly frail, but I mean, you could probably build it a bit defensive because let's be honest, you don't need to invest in that special attack. Whimsicott is obviously a brilliant pick. You could do whatever you want. Gudra, Gary is the only problem with Gary in this team is she's using it. She must be using it for offense. And with Gary, he does 70 to 80, but he never Rokos. It's just a natural thing in this non-Dynamax meta that it just doesn't do that last 10% that you need. But because she's got speed control, the rest of the team will. And then if you look at this team on the website and you scroll down to the old God Almighty boxes, it's scroll for days. She's got everything. I think everything gets, it's like 6 months get taunt, 4 of them get follow me, 4 of them get fake out. It's like she can do what she wants. It's just she's going to have to play on the back foot a lot because, like you said, like that a good ice type and a good steel type will just run through this, absolutely run through it.
So I've given this this team a 6. Honestly, I wanted to give it more, and the reason being is I feel that as much as this team has problems with its type weaknesses, and it does, massive ones, it's actually a great starting point. Okay, you can do 1 trade a week. Okay, if Shay takes advantage of that and gets the right trades, I reckon by week 3 or week 4 at the latest, if the right trades are done, this team could be an absolute monster, right? And there's still so much available that if Shay uses the trades right, then okay, it might take a while to build up speed. I think this team could be really, really difficult to deal with because, as you say, it's got all the utility with those boxes you mentioned there, Jake. It's got the speed control. It's got some huge special attack power. The only thing that I don't like, other than the types, is it's physically weak defensive with a few mons. Like, there's nothing there which is like switching and take a big punch to the face or what have you. But as a starting point, I think this team has more potential than any other team out there.
Yeah, I mean, I completely
believe
agree.
so as well.
She, again, first draft, I think everyone's first draft is always a little bit rough. And in that heat of the moment, you're getting sniped. You're not sure what you're getting. Sometimes that type chart goes out the window. So, I mean, we can look past it. I mean, yes,
that's true.
The type chart is not beautiful. But once again, like Nick pointed out, the potential is there. There's a reason why we have trades throughout the season. She can definitely fix this team for sure. And I mean, obviously, she's got the best. She's got one of the best Pokemon in the game with Whimsicott coming out there. Great redirection, and that she's got her S and A tiers are really good. I think she just needs to work around some of those C tiers and just make the use of those situationally, week to week. And then I think she will be good. And I think one thing that we to point out, Jake mentioned all the utility that it has there. I feel like there's sometimes one thing of having just too much utility because you kind of you have too many options for yourself as a player. And then you kind of have to build your team around what set of options you want to use this week, considering that you have 5 mons that can do the same thing, but slightly differently. So, I mean, that's the only issues. But I mean, once again, like Nick mentioned, there's potential here, and Shay can definitely turn this team around with some of these trades. Trades are definitely going to be needed for this team to succeed, I think.
Yeah.
One point
I'd
I
like
do
to
want
turn
say-
my 6 from a 6 to an 8, like with the right trade or two. I reckon this score could go way up.
One point I do want to say is she's built correctly for the Kangaskhan. So one thing that you need to people don't realize this. That thing is second in the kill leaders all time. All time. Joint with an Excadrill. So do not sleep on the Kangaskhan, and she's built it right because it's the only thing weak to fighting on a whole team. And it's the best lead Pokemon in the game. In Draft League, I think it's the best lead in the game. So I think if it's me, the Comfey and the Raichu Alola are coming out for a bit more offense, and it's done. The team is done. That's all
You also
she needs.
don't know. Maybe she was planning some other stuff and she got sniped, and she had to pick in the fly and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I feel like Raichu Alola can go. She already have a follow me fake out user with Mr. Mime Galar, and I think that one's a little better, especially with like screen cleaner and stuff like that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with
that
Shay.
or drop the Mr. Mime Galar, because that's doing an awful lot of damage to the type chart as well. So you could drop that instead of the Raichu. Like,
I feel like
it's
Mr.
very
Mime
good.
is too good.
It is very good.
It's too good. All right, let's continue. We got the Jersey Jynxs, also their first official draft. And they got the Diancie, which is one of the Pokemon I was looking at, but decided not to go with it. Yeah. Once again, we got those weaknesses with fighting and no resistances, apart from like the Mimikyu, but
yeah, you just adjust for that.
Yeah.
It's this again for me is a bit of a one-trick pony. It's not glaringly obvious Trick Room. She does have 2 pranksters though, so anything can happen. Anything can happen with 2 pranksters.
I will say,
Mimikyu doesn't have to be in Trick Room. The thing is that Diancie is like super slow. The Steelix is also super slow. I used it season 1. Flareon is also not the best speed wise. She's got no Tailwind.
But she's got a lot of priority moves, right? So who needs speed if you're just going first all the time anyway, right? And I think that the team defensively is just brilliant. It's a defensive powerhouse, stat wise, at least in my mind anyway.
Damn, 88 and 90.
Yeah, like, it's like, okay, sure, you've got the Lipard, but the Lipard is almost always going to end up being Focus Sash anyway, right? Like that's not there for defense. The rest of it is. And so she can afford to be slow. I don't think she needs to worry about speed control if she's just taking all the hits she can dish out.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to get through. I just don't know how much is coming back.
That's my big problem with it. Where's the offense? It's limited where it's coming from.
Yeah, it's only coming from her. It's coming from Serena. It's coming from Diancie, and it's coming from her Flareon.
I feel like offensive Mimikyu could be an option, but it's still not there as much. It's like I know it's 90. Was it 95 attack? Yeah, it's not 90. Bad. 90. But it's to break through, so she needs a good wall breaker.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, the Diancie's okay, but it's that you need that versatile wall breaker or something that's going to put a bit of offensive pressure on your team to say, because if I see this team, I'm thinking, I'm just going to lead my hardest hitting mons that don't need priority and just go to town. Just start doubling in on everything. Just kill.
A good fire type wrecks this team because the Serena is doing nothing to it. The Jynx is maybe psychic, but the fire will destroy the Jynx first. And then the Flareon, which is your other one with big attack, is not doing much back to another fire type. So, that's all it's going to take to sort of take this team apart. And I think that's why it hasn't scored quite as highly as some of the other teams out there.
Yeah, I don't like bringing it back with the type chart, but you have to look at some certain things like a -1 at -1 to fire is considering how much power is in the fire type in itself is just not the best. Fighting again a very common type. Obviously, everyone's weak to ground. We've established that ground is a thing that you just have to sometimes come to accept in draft league.
Yeah.
But it's just like the
Ground
common
them, yeah.
type things.
It's just-
But like Jake mentioned, like the trick room, yeah, you can put your trick room up and you might be able to survive, but you have to have power in order for trick room to work. Like you do want to make sure you're killing Pokemon with your trick room setters and not having them die quickly, even though there is trick room. So it's gonna be a tough ask, but this team is a really good trick room team. It is predictable. You might want to have a second backup strat because I think one thing I learned a lot last season is I had a Sun team, and most of the weeks I needed the Sun for my team to work, and it was predictable enough. And the same thing can go for a Tailwind team or Trick Room team, any type of team that needs a specific thing that's built against for one thing. You definitely need some backup strats just in case. But this team can handle it. Like it's a really good Trick Room team. It's just that unlike Ladder, you don't have a minute and 30 seconds to prep. You have a week to prep. And that's the only issue with running certain teams like a Sun, Trick Room, Tailwind, stuff like that.
Although never underestimate the fact of prankster coaching, though. That is one thing that we are overlooking here. Riolo there does change some of this.
I've just seen as well that I think at least four of these ones get body press or gyro ball. So what you're losing offense, you are gaining in power through defense or speed. So
interesting.
Maybe
we'll see. I know she's got some secret strats, and we've never battled really with her, and we don't know.
Really excited to see how she
thinks.
Yeah,
Yeah. Again, power rankings aren't the be all end all. This is just our base opinions on just numbers that we're seeing.
Yeah, we are not experts.
We're not taking anyone into account like their ability to battle. We're just looking at things on a sheet of paper and making guesstimates. So don't ever take anything too seriously here.
Yep.
Okay, Kraken.
And next we got Kraken with the Lilycove Lugias, which would have scored higher in my list if it wasn't for those 4 times weaknesses to grass.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think he's got like really nice team. Tapu Fini, I've used it so much. I love it. It's such a great pick. Togekiss, great defensive and offensive if you want to go with hustle or super luck. All I want to see is a super luck Togekiss. And just land a bunch of
Jack
crits.
ran it against me last season. I don't know who had it. Who had it last season? Oh man, that prep was not nice. I just got crit flinched every time.
Yep.
I feel like I need to give an explanation for why I give it a 5. Because we've got a 7, a 7, an 8, and then a me. So the problem I have with this team is the Gastrodon.
Same. But that's my one and only problem with it.
Take the Gastrodon out and put something else in. Maybe like a Politoed, and it probably gets a 7 and an 8 from me. The Gastrodon hinders this team so badly that it's untrue. The Seismitoad loses all of its offense because it's hitting the Gastrodon. The Tapu Fini loses most of its offense, or half of its offense, because it's sucked up by the Gastrodon. And the only thing the Gastrodon is protecting is the Aggron.
Which, like, who cares? That's a D tier. Let that go. Like, I have written down that Storm Drain, question mark. Like, Gastro needs to go, right? I've given it an 8 because I love everything else about this team. I think it's really good. And I can get over the 4 times Fairy weakness to Komodo, and even the 4 times Grass weakness to Seismitoad, because Seismitoad is great. But Gastrodon is just doing nothing for this team. But everything else I love about this. And I think that this is going to be a really hard team, especially if he can trade out that Gastro.
I think I think he was going for unless he got sniped by something, but I think he's going for an offensive Gastrodon here, because he could just surf Fini, Storm Drain, and get a +1 special attack with Gastrodon.
Can work
and
that way, yeah.
that kind of snowballs a little bit. I just don't like it that there's 4 times weakness to grass. It's just you just bring grass, and that's it.
Mhm.
If their
Mind you,
Comfey
grass
was
is
here,
quite
it
hard
would
to
have been
come
a
by.
different story because then you can heal the Gastrodon after.
Yeah. Oh god.
But you know,
It does.
I don't know how he's gonna
Looking at
play
it, he has had to pivot. It looks like it. So he's gone Feeny, Togekiss, Gastro, and then the team changes a little bit.
I mean, the
and-
thing is, though, you mentioned about Politoeds, or at least somebody did. That Politoed
Yeah.
was still available at the time he's picked Gastrodon. So, you know, I'm not sure where the choice was coming from at that point.
Yeah, I mean, Gastrodon. I mean, on this team, it doesn't. Gastrodon just does not work on this team at all. And having the thing is, having a minus. I feel like if you have a negative against fire, water, grass, and fairy, in my opinion, you're just not doing yourself any favors. And I mean, I have a -1 to fairy too. It's really hard not to. But like certain mons where they're super common, like you just don't want to have that in certain assets, especially a -4 to grass, which is it's as even though grass isn't the hardest hitting type, it's just you just don't want it. You just don't want a -4 to anything, let alone to a very common typing. It's not good. But I mean, overall, I mean, this team, I mean, compared to last season, this team is
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
a much better, well built team. It has many options. It's not a one trick pony. You can do a bunch of stuff. I think it works into the Lugias strats. I just feel like he needs a little bit. My biggest issues, I think he just needs a tad bit more like power, especially. Just because it's just like you can just bring special defensive mons against this one. I feel like he's
fun note.
Yeah.
If he'd have picked the Lele like he did on accident,
Yeah,
that might have fixed the team.
Yeah, I think so. I think the Lele. When I saw Lele, I was like, "Oh, this is good." I was like, "Oh, okay, this is great." And then he said, "Feels like." Okay, but overall, I mean, this team is a vast improvement. It's a solid team. It's got a lot going on for you. It's got great mons that do most of them mesh well. Just get rid of this.
Can I just ask? Has he got anything to trigger the weakness, the anger point on the Tauros?
It doesn't, but he doesn't need it. He could just go Life Orb or Tauros.
Yeah, like it's fine just running it Intimidate.
Oh, I guess Sheer Force. Oh yeah, Intimidate.
Yeah, Sheer Force. There you go. Like it's the anger point is kind of a one trick pony as well. After I ran it in season 1, like you don't want to be reliant on that. It's great, but easily breakable with like a follow me or something.
Yeah, it sure does.
True.
Yeah, I mean overall solid team.
Yeah, solid
also,
team. Like
Gothitelle also get heal pulls, so there's also that.
Yeah,
true. It's got. I was going to mention it's got a bulky Tailwind setter and a bulky Trick Room setter. So like the speeds, he can do whatever he wants with. I love a lot about this team. It's just, I mean,
it was so close, Kraken, so close.
Literally that Gastro. Trade it out.
Yeah, 1 week away, and you chef's kiss.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
and
this
here
one
we got another broken team. The one that stole the Politoed.
It's like, yeah, if you pick the Politoed, it's like, Nick got the Politoed. What are you talking about?
Saying that, Nick, I think a trade's on hand here.
I mean,
I think a trade's on hand.
Hey.
So before you guys go into this, I will just say if anyone, I mean, I shouted a lot about it during the draft, but after Shay said that she was going to snipe me a couple of hours before, I went, okay, the Tornadus and Metagross, I know, the rest I will work out as I go. So like none of this was planned.
It turned out really nice.
Yeah, it turned out really, really well, man. Like, I mean, I think this is, in my opinion, like personally one of my favorite teams, just because the story behind it. Again, you're not getting first pick, is gone, having to build on the fly, and the fact that you kind of turned it in from last season when you were building on the fly from all your snipes to this shows your growth overall, and just the fact that you have so many options to go with this team, and your team just flows so nicely. Like trust me, I'm all for looking at the type chart and picking apart every little thing, right? But your team itself, even though they just support each other so well that it's just a team's team. It really just does everything you needed to do. You have, in my opinion, one of the second best prankster user in the game next to Thunderous. It's so good. You have great abilities to work well together. My only issue, like besides that, is I feel like you could definitely use you definitely need Trick Room and Tailwind for certain aspects, and you have that. But I just feel like you definitely always need to make sure you have that set up at all times during your matches, and that will probably help you out in the long run. But you have the mods to do it. You just don't. You just need that speed control, and I think that's the only issue. You just don't have anything that's naturally going to move faster than one other thing, or move slower than the other thing. I think you don't have that one like base, like 110 speed Pokemon that you might need to always make sure it hits without it being Prankster. But besides that, it's a great team. I love it.
Also, 504 BSD having a Scraggy in it. What the hell?
This team is one that I will give Nick. Is type chart doesn't look brilliant, but having used most of this in the prep tournament that Seb hosted a couple of weeks back, it works so well that it doesn't matter when you have the Tornadoes. It just doesn't matter. It's such a good utility. And if you're not popping Tailwinds, you're popping an Air Slash and you have a chance to flinch, and the Air Slash is doing loads. It's like the Metagross, you just stick an Assault Vest on it, man. You just stick an Assault Vest and it just doesn't die. It's got priority. The Politoed covers its fire weakness. I still stand to this. I did not consent to Porygon Z going A tier. I did not consent to this. And the fact that I had it in my team, Nick didn't see it at the time. He was sat over there while I was clicker-clacking. He did technically snipe me, but not snipe me, because I had the Porygon Z in my team when he picked it. But I did give him the option to pick it, because before, when he was panicking, I was like, you could just throw a Porygon Z in that and everything would be fine. And he's like,
yeah, that was a Jake suggestion.
But yeah, I love it.
So go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say the Flaky covers the Metagross fine. It's like the Metagross has all the coverage. The Metagross has everything it needs to thrive. And it has a Tailwind, it has Rain, and it has Grassy Surge. Done. No weakness.
Yeah.
And 135 attack start me.
And the weakness chart is not that bad. I think you can handle it all pretty well altogether. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. It'd be nice if we had
an offensive chart, because the offensive chart would probably show the true side of this, is that once you're moving first, your offensive chart would be so much better than your defensive chart.
Not a bad idea.
Which we might do next season.
I'll be there next season now.
Seb, more work.
That is so much work.
But no, yeah, I love this team. You can also bring like Bulldoze Metagross and with weakness policy and just.
I'm just so sad the Beartic wasn't on it, man. I'm so sad the Beartic wasn't there.
It didn't work. I looked at it and it just wasn't right for what I was building at the time. By that point, like I needed something else. Like my brain was going 100 miles an hour round in circles. Like so, this is why
Nick was having a great time at my house. He loved every moment.
I did. I gave myself a headache by the end of it. But no, I thank you for most of your kind words there and stuff. Like
you also got Mr. Rhyme, which I'm interested in seeing how it plays out. Instead of them, Galar Mime, we'll see
Jack
how
didn't get
this
to bring it
plays
a
out.
lot, but I'll just tell you now, having access to freeze dry is so big, so big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it being in D tier, like it is right to be in D tier because Mr. Mime Galar, it should be in the tier above it, and this was a discussion we made prior to this season. But it's a great D tier pick, and I am happy with it. There's definitely some stuff that I'm looking at trading, but hey, I'm happy for now.
Speaking of
And
Jack, my accomplice,
my week 1 battle.
So,
oh man,
when Jack first put his team to me weeks back, like when the tier list got finalized, it was like, in fact, the tier changes actually helped Jack in a way in making some decisions, because we moved stuff up and down, and Jack was like, yes or nay. This team, where do you even start? I mean, ground weakness, fair enough, but do not underestimate any of these. Everything, he's got decent bulk. I mean, we know what Electabuzz does now. Electabuzz is just the most annoying thing on the planet.
Yeah.
Gigalith, I would argue, is better than Hippowdon. After having my problems with it in Season 2 with Brandon. Excadrill is second in the kill leaders for that exact reason. It's an Excadrill. Thunderous Incarnate. That's all you have to say.
Yeah.
Thunderous Incarnate.
So what I'll say about this team, you're right in terms of where you're talking about the power and stuff like that. And the first words I've got written down here are scary power. But personally, I reckon that the defensive side of this team is a little bit questionable. Like the stats aren't all that amazing for it defensively. Obviously, you've got the outliers. But yeah, I don't love that. And especially with 3 Pokemon needing the Eviolite to be like usable in Electabuzz, Torracat, and Gabite. Take it from someone who's tried to do this with 3 Eviolite users, like it really restricts what you can and can't do. 2 is you can get away with, 3 is difficult. And personally, like I think that if somebody gets into a good position, they could end up sweeping this team because of the lack of defense there. That said, they need to get into the position. There is an awful lot of power there. Like don't knock that. You've got the Gigalith extra. You've got Primarina in A tier is ridiculous, and we all said it should be higher. But the problem was you just need Pokemon in the A tier, and that's the reason why it couldn't leave. Yeah, maybe
One thing I will say is does have double intim. Double intim from dual typings as well, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing to stop that double lead intimidate. And the Gigalith gets the special. The Gigalith gets special defense boost in the sand. So it's the stats are so like, oh, they hide it. They hide it. It's that you look at the stat chart and it's like, I could do this. And then you put it in the calc, it's like, why is it doing so little?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, this is my least favorite of Jack's team. But that being said, this is a Jack team because it's just it just plays to what he's really good at, which is team building, prep, and hiding its weakness and making you think that you're good when you're not good at all. Like you think you're straight. You think you're like, I've got this. 3 Eviolite users, I'm good. Boom. Prankster Thunderous. Boom. Excadrill. Gigalith. Sand. Prim. Double Intimidate, which I didn't even think about till Jake just mentioned it. Like it's just he's going to destroy your team's stats before you can even attack, and it just works really well. It's just mean. It's a Jack team, and I do like it. The only issue I have, and again, it just brings it back to my big things, like when you have a weakness to fire, water, grass. It's just that's the only thing. Like you that water weakness is one of the most common typings. Yes, there's a work around it. Yes, it's not the worst thing in the world. But when you see Excadrill, Gigalith, and you just like, okay, sand, you need water, and then I think you're straight on most parts. But he covers that pretty well. And my only other thing I wish he had a little bit more speed control. I feel like not having Trick Room or Tail, while his team doesn't necessarily need it, it wouldn't hurt it at all to have it. And I think if he had it, it would it would make it just that much more.
The one
better.
thing with this team is you have to go down. It has to be Trick Room.
Yeah.
Because
Agreed.
Exca is 170 something in sand.
Mhm.
Septile has 120, but it's unburdened. Yeah, you have to go down with this team. You can't go up. You can't like try and toe to toe it. He's got 4 above 100 off the rip. I don't think we've seen that in a team before in the CCC.
Plus
Yeah,
then a
4
90,
above
plus
100.
then one that goes up with the sand, so like doesn't need tailwind or anything.
No.
Like what I've actually think it would benefit from, because it does not need a tailwind setter. It just doesn't. That'd be pointless for it. I'd actually like to see Jack possibly pick up a Pokemon that could use Trick Room, so that he's got an option, so that if somebody is trying to go over it, he can end up just like completely unpredictable. He's going the Trick Room 1 week or something like that.
Yeah, or an imprison user with Trick Room. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just like,
something like that would be really nice.
Yeah, any type of speed control would benefit. Definitely Trick Room over Tailwind, but just having that option on your team is always nice, and that's all I'm trying to say.
Go, Jack.
All right.
Yeah.
I've got a week 2.
Oh,
who have we got next?
Who? Oh, it's Josh.
Oh my god,
Josh.
Here we go. It's Josh.
Which I don't know what he did.
Split decisions here. Split decisions. It's like, what? I like this. I like it a lot.
Real quick, we've actually got in here that he picked up Hatterini. He's already made a trade, and it's worth remembering that going forward, because that Hatterini won't be there after week 1. He's traded it for Porygon 2, am I right in saying?
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah,
which makes his team a lot more trickier. Hatterene has he's going to lose the weakness to the poison. He's going to lose the weakness to the ghost, and he's going to gain in steel. To which he's going to go maybe a neutral to fighting. It's just scary, man. I just don't know where to start. He's got the Rain Core with a Jolteon. All I think with Jolteon now is just the round strats, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Kingdra, I love Kingdra.
I love Kingdra. I feel like those are really, really nice, really strong.
The great Obstagoon
will take lives, and the fact that he's got the Obstagoon in with still a positive fighting total is so good for that Obstagoon. He's got so much. With the P2, obviously he's got the tricky, and then the problem comes that we're all talking about these lower tiers. That L tier, man, you have to kill it first.
Yeah,
you have to kill it first.
And you can't kill it. It's so bulky. Like in an ideal world, I'd have picked this up in a rain team. I was never going to get all the pieces to put it together, but I was looking at it for so long because it's just brilliant. Like 115, both defense and special defense is broken. And then like if you kill anything else before that because you think that might be a bigger threat, which is not, but if you do, then it's just going to gain more power. And there's not a great option to take it down. Obviously, ground is the sort of obvious one, especially with him having a rain team, so fire's kind of out of the equation. But yeah, he's then got a load of water to deal with ground. Yeah, that Magina is something else. It really is.
Yeah, this is Yeah, he did. This is a really good. It's a solid team from Josh. It really is. I think this might be on the weaker side of the teams he's drafted from the past 2 seasons I've seen, and that might have completely to deal with the fact that he wasn't present for the draft. He had someone drafting for him, so maybe he might have not been able. Maybe if he was there, he'd be able to make some more decisions on the fly. But yeah, with the switch with the Hatterene to the Porygon 2, it bumped up my score. I think it really, really helps out a lot. his team a lot with Trick Room. It's a good, hard to stop Trick Room team. It's like you can't stop it. You just have to deal with it. And the Magirna, the fact that you have to focus on this thing at all times really just helps him set up his other team members really, really well. I will say, despite it being a rain team, I don't like the Darmanitan pick. I really don't. I don't think it just works with rain. I get you need a fire type, but maybe not at A tier. Maybe you could have picked another A tier that would have helped out a little bit more with the Trick Room and the rain. And then overall, I mean, like there's not a bad pick in here. The just questionable ones for me were the Hatterene and the Darmanitan, which he fixed, and maybe the Beartic fits with the rain with Swift Swim, and it just overall it's just a really solid team. I don't like the Togepi. I really don't.
Well, that's only there for one reason.
Yeah, we know we know why, but it's just I just don't.
I'd like to hear.
Go pick a higher follow me because he took the Togepi.
Yeah,
relatively.
It was the last pick, and to be fair, I think it was the last Pokemon with follow me.
Okay,
yeah. But
okay, gotcha.
I'd like to hear
Togepi's not bad.
Seb's explanation because he's the one that's marked this down.
Yeah. Well, now knowing that Porygon is in the equation, I kind of forgot about that. I would have ranked this a little bit higher.
That's okay.
I've played Hatterene enough to know that indeed Hatterene is strong. But Hatterene by itself is not as good. Pelipper, Kingdra, great option. Not a big fan of Pelipper with his 4x weakness, and then it just dies to rock as well. And then Jolteon is really fine. It's fine being fast. It's just I guess round strides are all right. I just never found a useful as useful as other Pokemon. And then you got also Obstagoon, which I've tried to use so many times, and I've never been able to use it like properly. I mean, but maybe it's Josh, so he maybe bring comes up with something I never realized. So
forget rounds.
I do agree.
Thunder in the rain, right?
A lot of this is like if you've used a mon and it hasn't worked before, like you know where it falls. So
yeah,
Seb being used all these mons before, well, most of these mons before, and I think you've used a couple on the viewer battles as well, especially like the Kingdra and stuff like that. So you'll definitely know this team more than I think Josh knows this team.
Which also comes down to playstyle, It also comes down to what you're comfortable with and all that kind of stuff. He's got a really solid Trick Room option if he wants to switch stuff up, which is most likely what's going to happen. I think he's going to
and most arguably one of the best D tiers in Hitmonchan as well.
So it's worth noting Hitmonchan is pretty much the only form of priority that Josh has. It's if you look at what the rest of the Pokemon get, so Hitmonchan almost has to be coming if he wants to that guarantee go first, outside Trick Room, Tail, and whatever. And I'm not a fan of being super that reliant on a D tier. I mean, you don't need priority by any stretch of the imagination, but it's nice to have, and being forced to rely like that, it does raise an eyebrow for me.
It's got big shoulders, but it can't carry it too much. I mean, we saw it with Shay last season. She was more than reliant on that Hitmonchan coming.
Yeah.
But I am, unlike Luke, I am a fan of the Darmanitan Unova pick. I'm a big fan of both Darmanitans. I like it. I really like it. They are a bit of a one-trick pony, but there's no stopping it. There is no stopping it. I do think the Galar is better because most of the time you need to run the Gorilla attack. You free ban free, and then you throw the Scarf on. This one gets free Life Orb, but you have to throw the Scarf on. But he does have the Trick Room, so he could be running like Room Service or Iron Ball, Iron Ball Fling, something like that. I don't know. I do like the Darmanitans though. The low defenses are surprisingly not as bad when you throw 105 HP in, because I think HP counts for like 2 of a defense or something. HP counts for more than defense in terms of calculations. I think it works out as. So it's not as bad as it looks. But then again, Luke's used the Galarian one and didn't find much options with it. So it's going to be the first time we see the Unovan one in the CCC, and I'm happy. I almost picked it, given how I I ran Galarian one. I was like, this one's just got to be as good. So we'll see how Josh does. I don't, like Luke said, I agree. It's not the strongest team because, I mean, the season 2 team was good. But that's what you get when you don't turn up to the draft. Turn up to the draft, guys.
It helps, right?
I promise it's fun.
It is fun.
It is fun.
It's my favorite part.
Not a chore. Yeah, like why can't we just do a new draft each week? That'd be great.
And when do you get 14 to 16 people in one call at once, all having fun? It's great. It's a great community thing. But thank you to Raz, by the way.
Raz drafted
shout
for
out.
two of us. So great. Yeah.
We love your ass. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we got another newcomer, which he stole my Urshifu. I wanted this one first, but that's all right. To be honest, the other one's stronger in my opinion, but I wanted this one. But look, it's Jake's favorite Pokemon, Venusaur.
We know he loves it. Yeah.
So first note, it does say Urshifu single, but it is the dark one. It is correct.
My bad.
It's fine.
That was my mistake.
Yeah, it's already just so I realize we'll get caught out. Galen, if you weren't new, you were getting a 4 because of the Venu. I'm only joking. No, I think this is a solid 6-7 team. It's got so much.
Right. Sorry,
is it right? I thought single was
right.
water.
No, single's dark.
Water.
It's like it is
right,
correct.
My bad.
Yeah,
my bad.
Yeah,
my bad. I got them confused. But yeah, Sableye is there for your speed control. Butterfree with Choice Scarf, Compound Eyes, Sleep Powder, Ninetales,
Lycanroc with a Cell Rock.
Yeah, Lycanroc with a Cell Rock, Healerless, Solar Power, Leafeon, Chlorophyll, Wartortle or Fake Out, Follow Me, Mr. Mime, I'm sure gets Follow Me, Fake Out. It's got all the utility you need. It's got all the, I think the Sableye counter weather as well is very nice, but I think the Quash just works too much. And the problem is, barring the Lycanroc, the Venu, and the Urshifu, and arguably the Heliolisk, I'll give you that. The power's coming from 4. So I feel like if I cover for 4, I should be okay. From what I've found in my testing, that Venu doesn't kill in 1, and Venu doesn't take hits very well. So I feel like that Focus Sash might need to be swapped around a bit week to week. But I feel like he's got a really good team, and he might play Sun. He's a new player. We don't know. He might play Sun regularly. It's just that Venu in non-Dynamax did not work for me.
I must say, since I use a lot of the same strats and a lot of the same things last season, that Sun is great. The biggest thing was, again, I mentioned this earlier with like Trick Room and other things like that. You're building your entire team around it. While it's great, it is very predictable. And then once again, you have a week to prep for this, and that's the only thing when you're running it. It's a Sun team. I mean, my note is soak up the Sun. You're like, this is what it is. It's a Sun team. It's a really good Sun team. But when it's stopped, it's kind of stalls this team in its tracks a little bit. But I will say that Urshifu really helps out a lot. The Ninetales is great. You can do a lot with Ninetales. It can take hits. You can throw an AV on that thing and it can take hits, and you can Calm Mind and Sweep if you want. The Sableye, I love Sableye. You picked a great prankster user. There's so much you can do with Sableye. That works really, really well. Heliolisk and Leafeon work so well in the Sun. Nick has been will stand by Heliolisk. I've seen him using Heliolisk for the past couple of weeks in his YouTube. It's a great Sun team. It's really good. It's a solid team overall altogether. But I feel like you might need to not be as reliant on the Sun, because when it is countered, you'll be fighting back a lot. And this team, it screams Dynamax without the Dynamax a little bit too much for me. And that's my only issue with it. But overall, that means it's a great team.
Yeah, I mean, I think what needs to be said about the Sun team has already been said. Don't rely on it. It's great in ranks, but in draft, when I think the same goes for any weather or terrain or anything which is almost telegraphed. If it's an option you've got in draft, fine. If it's your only option you've got, that's where you start having problems because you can't go any other way. And I mean, like Urshifu's great, but obviously that 4 times weakness to fairy, it can get taken down very easily. And once you've done that, then you do start to have the team fall apart. I will say Heliolisk, better Charizard, just end of. Sorry, Luke. Right? So like,
We've already talked about Charizard and how it hurt me last season.
Yeah, I know. I had to say it though. Like, I think if you're gonna go Sun, these are some of the right ones to pick up, especially that Heliolisk. I think he's done it really well, and having something like a Wartortle to counter with the potential of rain teams and what have you, works. It's just that what else is this team doing? If Sun gets taken apart and there's a fairy Pokemon to take out the Urshifu, where is this team gonna go? And I think look at some other options. Luke said it already, but yeah, that's the concern with this.
This one's hard to pivot from as well. I'm trying to think of trades, and I'm thinking like the ideal one is the Butterfree to come out.
I think that Butterfree's also giving you Tailwind as well.
He just needs and he needs one thing I did notice. I think the Butterfree needs to come out. I think you're going to need some help because while these things will hit hard, they might not hit hard enough that you need, and you might get countered hit pretty hard. But some of these Pokemon are a little bit frailer than most. Again, like talking about the Venusaur, Heliolisk is relatively flare. Leafeon is
it's hilarious how we're talking that Venu is frail and it's got 80 HP, 83 defense, and 100 Spadef, and it's frail.
Not frail. It's not frail.
Like, there's a reason why people run it Focus Sash, right? It's trash.
He would benefit from like something that would lower stats. He would benefit from Intimidate or like a Snarl user or something like that to help out on that end. And I think if you can make a trade for that, because I had a Sun team, it was hard to make trades last season that fit your team when you're running Sun. So
maybe it's the Leafeon then. Maybe it's the Leafeon.
Could be honest, you could trade it even Ninetales and Leafeon.
Yeah,
and so you can have other options.
Yeah. But all in all, I think a very good team,
solid team.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely pick up
one
some
of every weather
the,
except the hail. I think
so. Yeah, we haven't got a hail team this time. And Aurora's is in D tier. You're all, what are you guys doing? Okay,
and this one, Joel's team with good old
almost
Coco.
A fan favorite. In fact, it is a fan favorite for me. There's a reason why I got a 9, and
we know.
Oh,
you just look at his first team. 4 Pokemon, and it's like, wow. And then you go to C tier, and it's like, oh, great utility, nice. So it's like,
this is one of my favorite teams personally. And Joel is one of my favorite players because I love the way Joel plays the game. But yeah, you look at the first 4 picks. I was looking at it last night when I was doing this. I was like, oh my god. Like you have Wayne, you have Calgon, you have two of the season 1 MVPs from our champion on one team. You have one, in my opinion, the best Tapu, in my opinion, with Tapu Koko. While Dracovish has not seen the best in the CCC as how powerful as he is, maybe Joel can make him work. Domain Singular, while I used it a lot, it might be a one-trick pony. Once again, it just depends on how you want to use them. And then you just go down and you see all the utility in his lower tiers, man. Like, it is really, really, really good.
All you need to look at with this team is BST average 507. Seb, if you could flick to that attack stat, I think it's 130 something. Like, he's got it's 93, but he's got the Hitmonlee with 120, the Darmanitan with 140, and the Tapu Koko with 115. It's so good on the offensive side.
Executor Alola gets 105.
Yeah.
Executor Alola is massive.
It's scary.
Massive.
Jake, you looked it up when we were looking at other leagues. It wasn't it like it had like 16 kills in one league or something
In
like
one
that.
league, it was kill leader.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Without Dynamax.
Also,
It
Coco
was
can be
without-
special. It cannot.
Yeah.
It can also be special. So,
And that-
I think
Well,
most
Coco's
people
got
run it
guaranteed
special,
damage as
actually.
well with Nature's Madness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
And that
faster than
Agnes-
most things. It's
Yeah.
Hitmonlee gets Unburden, and he's got the electric terrain. Unfortunately, Rotom Wash doesn't touch it, which is it's so close to being amazing. Dracovish
Does it get rising voltage
with-
though? Does Rotom Wash get rising voltage?
I'm not
No.
sure. I don't think
Oh.
it does.
It might.
Maybe.
It
Maybe.
Because
might.
rising voltage
Um,
still, even if you're levitating or flying, you get the double attack from
Yeah.
the terrain.
We all know Magmar is great. Feeble is actually one of those like odd pickups, but does work in certain situations. My only problem here is the Aegislash. I feel like you have to be a seasoned Pokemon player to use that well.
Yeah.
Like Jack traded it out for a reason. I thought Jack was good, and he couldn't use it. Your timing has to be perfect with Aegislash, and you have to be 2 to 3 turns ahead. I can't do that as a Pokemon battler. I battle like maybe 1 or 2 turns ahead. And I don't know a lot of things
Aegislash is
either,
hard.
but
It's just hard.
it's just hard to use. And it's very dangerous when you have Defiant users and stuff that can manipulate stats to their advantage. Because with the King Shield as well, it's the same thing I used against Jack in Season 2. It was like, I've got a Defiant Persimmon. I'm going to whack you with a knockoff because it's super effective. It's almost going to Oko. And if you protect, I'm getting a +2 attack. So it's like...
Yeah.
Aegislash
is tough. Yeah, it's one of those Pokemon, like you mentioned, Jake. It's one of those Pokemon that it's just hard to use. It just really is. And again, it just takes the right person to use it, but there's definitely workarounds it. And that was one of my notes I had in the cons was just Aegislash is just really hard to use. I'm just not a big fan of it.
I think it's one of those that if you aren't prepping for it, it's can be a hell of a thing that's going to surprise your opponent, and they then have to work out what they're going to do with it. But if you can see it coming, it's like, well, you just have some options for it. But I mean, the same can be said a lot about Draft League in general. I think that what I like about this team is I loved watching Joel last season. Okay, he was probably one of my favorite coaches to watch, quite frankly. And he played in such a different way to most other people. Whereas I feel like this team is really flipping on its head what he was doing previously. Like, this is just like pop a Tailwind and just start hitting those power moves, right?
Hit a Super Fang.
Yeah, that's it. And obviously you got the Super Fang as well. But I think this is going to show a huge difference in the type of team, and I'm excited to see what it can do. Overall, I think that just the individual mons are just so good. You can't knock this team realistically. The Magmar, somebody's mentioned it. One of my favorite things here, and I think one of the best Eviolite users there is. I had it last season, and granted, I didn't do great last season, but it wasn't because of the Magmar. The Magmar was what got me to where I needed to be, quite frankly. The Dracovish, just can somebody actually make it work? That's the question.
I think so. I
think so as well. I think so.
This might be the season, guys. Might be the season.
Joel, if you're ever thinking of getting rid of Calgon, hit me up. Just put it out there. If you ever watch this, just hit me up. Yeah, love this team. Full of fan favorites for me. If I had that team, I'd be so happy. Now, the controversial. The controversial.
This team seems to have been made to piss me off. I'm just saying that. It's everything I hate in one team.
I would like to read
everything I hate in one team.
What the exact words that I have written down for notes on this team. Okay, so in word for word, miserable. Stats irrelevant. Lots of neutral typing. Just miserable. Is he trolling? Right?
He has to. Like Toxic Packs. He sacrificed both his B tiers for Shuckle Chansey. What the hell? Shedinja? He's got to be, I'm gonna hate this so
I'm just
much.
wondering, like, has Scott got some plan that he knows that I don't? It's like every time I look at this team, the cogs just turn. It's like, what is it? What is it?
No,
there's something here that I know it's like speed swap Alakazam. Like, so your stack attacker could go both ways. You run Trick Room, I'll speed swap it. It's but Ditto free legend if you time it right. Let's be honest. So you've got to be careful. But again, it's a Ditto. It has 50 HP. It's just don't try not to give it your bulkiest mon. It's like it's Shuckle Chansey. I kind of get where it goes. Never really faced it, but I'm sure there's plenty of YouTube videos I can watch on it. Toxapex, I've looked at multiple times. Love it as a Pokemon. Love the design. Love the way it plays. Would I pick it? No.
It's a singles, man. It's nobody runs it in doubles. Not to much. It's trash in doubles in my mind.
Shedinja is a good pick because it forces your opponent to prep for it. You have to bring those types.
Yeah. Also,
granted, they're not the
most
most common types. Granted, they're not most common types, but Shedinja Ally Switch is just something else. We've all seen the Pikachu, but only as a Chonkachu. We might see it somewhere else. And then Mogrim.
It's just like really nice speed control as well. Just Electro Webs are just really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, again, this team, like kind of what Nick wrote, I didn't write much for this team other than WTF. Like, it literally is like.
We expected Scott to go a completely different way.
Yeah, and Scott he turned it on his head. And listen, this is a team that I feel like only Scott can run and get away with. The question is, how many times are you going to see this team and not eventually figure it out? And then, maybe it might work for the first 3 weeks. And hey, you only need 3 months to get in the playoffs, but most of the time.
I will bank on the fact that this team completely changes by playoffs.
I could see that.
Free trades, and I think like you take the Ditto, the Shuckle, and the Toxapex out, and this team completely changes.
Oh yeah.
The thing is that you're forced to prep for the Chansey Shuckle. You're forced to prep for Stack Attack and Diddy. You're forced to prep for all this kind of things. So that might be in his advantage. Because you can't prep for everything. So we'll see.
I mean, the thing is, he knows what he's doing, right? We know Scott is a seasoned player, and so he's obviously thought about this. He's not. I've written down, is he trolling? I'm sure he's not doing it purely for that reason. He's got a plan. It's just a case of, do we actually think, even with his abilities, is it going to pan out?
Well, I'm intrigued to see. His first matchup is Josh.
Josh is another seasoned player, so
this is going to be a good matchup to see because I think Scott's got a lot of work to bring out to beat Josh's team.
Yeah, and I think if you're in particularly that side of the league, you want to watch that match because I feel like if anyone's going to be like capable of handling it, Josh is. So watch what Josh does, copy it,
replicate it. I don't think we could. Say much else. I mean, like looking at his draft order,
his big attackers, Ndidi and Alakazam, are pretty weak to freaking bug, man. I've learned that the hard way. So,
But mind you, Stack Attacker's the only one that can get away with 4 times weakness.
It's the Dark for me because Dark does Shedinja. The only thing that resists it is Morgrim, which is like what. Even if it is resisting, it's not taking it well. And then it's super effective versus a couple of other things. Like for me, I'd just be like, have a dark move on everything, just in case.
Yeah, but freaking Shedinja is gonna be Focus Sash. You just guarantee it.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Focus Sash Shedinja.
Bring beat up. Okay.
Double hit moves.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my god. Cool, we can beat. Oh, I don't know, man. That's just it's just looking at it just drives me crazy. And there's me. I just want to say that my power went out 3/4 of the way in of the draft. I got sniped. Like at least like 4 to 5 times. I don't know. I tried my best. It's not really what I wanted, but hey,
Seb, I
you
love
know,
that you're starting this off the same way I did, by prefacing everything we're about to say by like, this is why it might not look the way it was supposed to look.
yeah, no.
I mean, overall, I think you've got a good team here, man. Like, it's a proven strategy, and some of the stuff that you've got here, we saw it on Josh's team last season. I'm not saying you're copying it, but you know it works, if nothing else. And Josh did well with it last season. The Urshifu is a great pickup. And I think it was your last one, right? Or one of your
Yep.
last Pokemon you picked up LNS
Second to
right
last,
at the
yeah.
end. Yeah. And Salamence is a great Intimidate user as well. Like, I think any of the pseudo legendaries, bar a couple, are always good to have. And then the Klefki, I think might not suit your team, and I think you've already expressed like thoughts surrounding whether you need both
yes, the
that
Cliff
and the
was
Cottony.
straight up for some other strat I was planning, but it was gone. It was gone a turn before I was gonna pick it. So it's like, god damn. But yeah.
Yeah, but overall, like, I think this is a solid team. I think it's going to be hard for anybody to come up against. My only concern is that because obviously we saw something similar last season, is this possibly a little too predictable? That's my one thought with it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's tough. You lost a point for me for Indeedee Holucha, so you would have been an 8. But what you have made up is I love your C tiers. I think I benefited hugely from Electivire last season, and having a Machamp as well. Whew. I've never played with the Urshifu, so I'm not quite sure. The Salamence I love, and the Marowak Alola I love as well. Basically, I love pretty much all of your team. And I think you did really well given the conditions.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really wouldn't be worried about using this team. I think it's really good. I think you've got really good speed control. You've got the only thing that is like you say, you know that the Klefki doesn't really fit. It's because the Indeedee kind of nerfs it in a way, but then it's mind games. Do you bring the Indeedee and do you just throw the Klefki in? Mm-hmm. It's like, do you do the Klefki then throw the Indeedee in? It's like, oh, bro. I think it's a perfect Seb team. It's a perfect Seb team.
You know, we'll figure it out. I think
that you will play with this very well. It suits your way of playing, which is cripple the opponent and then kill them, make them suffer.
Yeah, it's a really good, it's a good team, man. It just is. There's not. I mean, they're literally like the only thing I wrote down for the cons. Again, I sound like a broken record, but it's the -2 to Fairy, considering it's some of your biggest heavy hitters. That's the only thing that I really wrote down. I was like, that's just not ideal, but it's a workaround. Like, you work around that, you're fine. Obviously, we know what Indeedee Male and Holucha does. We know what Alola. We know what a lot of these mons do, and I'm pretty familiar with the Urshifu. I think Rapid Strike just kind of outclasses Single Strike, in my opinion, in a lot of ways, just for its surging strikes move. Like, it's really
it hits
good.
More than once. It's just so good.
It hits 3 times. And most situations, it's doing 75 to 80% on most mons that are not super effective too.
And let's not forget that crits bypass stat drops.
Yep.
So intimidates don't matter.
And you can't protect against me.
Yeah. The Urshifus, like, are so broken. The reason that I think the Fighting Water one is better than the Single Strike one is the multi-hit and the 4 times weakness. You've got more weaknesses with the Water one, but they're only 2 times, and you can sort of start to cover for those.
Yeah.
The 4 times one is just hard, but overall, Urshifu Rapid is brilliant.
Yeah. It's good. It's a good team, Seb. You should.
Also, Cottony is in the. I wanted Fletchender. I wanted my little boy back. And I was like, oh, it's gone. And then it's like, I need a Tailwind. What do I get? Freaking Cottony, go in there.
Cottony's fine. Cottony's
great.
Fine.
Yeah, we know.
I mean, if it was flying, you'd
It
be on
would
a
be
winner.
10 times better.
You'd be on a winner.
I always
That's
think it's
like-
flying. Always think it's flying.
One question I've always asked is if you air balloon it, does it touch the terrain?
It does not touch the terrain, no.
So, prankster works.
No, prankster only it's
No.
against your opponent.
Yeah.
So your opponent has to be
grounded.
touching, yeah.
But can you
Yeah.
trick?
Yeah. So
too much.
have an air balloon, trick it onto your opponent, then you can use stuff to start. Like it.
No, it's
This,
the opposite way around. It's the opposite way around. No, Cottony's great. Like you say, most of the time it is just there for a tailwind, but
Yeah.
sometimes a tailwind is all you need.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, it
very
doesn't
good job.
get
Seb. You lost
screens,
it.
which is really bad. But hey,
Yeah, it does get warm weather though, sunny day,
Yes.
no idea which one.
and I think it gets grassy terrain as well, which is good to know.
I'm not
Coming up
sure
here
about
society.
that one.
maybe.
I'm pretty sure it does because I'm looking for a grassy terrain user, and Whimsicott came up. So,
Wim does more than Cottony. That is worth
Yeah.
remembering.
and the mill tank, I have prepped with Jack. Mill tank, very good, very good.
I've got
Why
plans
is
for
it
Mill
so
Tank.
fast? It's built
use it
like
plans.
it looks like a beach ball. Why is it the speed? Is what is it like? Speed 100 or 105 or something
Five,
like
It's
that?
standard.
It's over 100.
These cows are fast.
It's fun. It's fun to use. I think you've done well, Seb. Like I say, you just lost a point for Indeed Lugia.
Oh man.
Fair
Okay.
enough. I'll accept that. And then we got Kanto, which surprised me picking the Volcanion. Not gonna lie. Did not think he was gonna pick a mythical.
That's a Kanto pick. And that's what when I saw Volcanion, I was just like, you know what? That makes sense. I have no idea how it works, and Kanto probably does. He's probably used it in some wacky team at some point or another. But I was just like, you know what? This if it was gonna go, it was gonna go to Kanto. Like if someone was gonna take it, I felt like that it just screams Kanto. And this team itself is just a Kanto team, which lo and behold, I've slowly started to love the way Kanto plays the game. It's really fun. I mean, overall, it's just he's got really great power. Like this time, his team is like legitimately like it's scary. Like he can hit hard, really, really hard, like scary hard. Like it's like I'm honestly a little scared. Like it's just, and his bulk and defense is just, it's all really solid. The only issue is that speed stat, that base speed stat of 69, which
that's my one concern.
That's my only issue, and the fact that his it just kind of screams you need Trick Room with Gotharita, which we've seen before, and Scott used it last year too. Great effect, but we've seen it, so we kind of know how to stop it. But overall, I think this is by far Kanto's best team he's drafted from the get-go. I'm curious to see how he decides to run it. But the -3 the ground also kind of just makes me. It's ground, but like you just don't want -3 to anything. You just don't want. There's a reason why it's Stark Red for a reason.
I think you have to accept ground sometimes. Like there's some types which are just hard to prep for. Like we've mentioned ground, we've mentioned rock. Ghost is another one that there's so few resistances to it that unfortunately you're gonna have some negative most of the time.
Yeah, there's also not as many ground types, like stab ground type Pokemon.
Yeah.
So that kind of balances
Not as many
out
as
a
you
little
think.
bit.
No.
Yeah.
There is secret power in this team, though. There is secret power. He will probably use this better than what I could use it. I've spoke to Phoenix, because he's got him week 1, and I know Phoenix is having a couple of problems with this team, which I think is going to be the case in every week. To be honest, we're all.
Yep.
I think
I've started prepping for Jack and Phoenix, and holy moly.
But yeah, it's. I mean, we all saw the double. The double went up this season because double is double. Nidoking is not physical; it is special.
It can be both. It's worth
it can be both.
Special is better. Azumarill is just. I think is amazing.
I think he wanted Politoed, but he got
He
sniped
definitely didn't
by
want
a good
Politoed.
He
friend
said
here.
he got sniped on that. Yeah.
So,
Sorry, mate.
I really wanted Spiritomb again, but Kanto took it. I think it's just an obvious pick in D tier. It's got all of the mess aroundy moves. It's a almost safe trick room because it's dark, so it's protected against prankster.
Yeah.
I mean, it's trick room's always going last, but the taunt is kind of nice. The Phalanx, I think. Who's picked the Phalanx before? Was it Token last one season?
I don't think they've ever
We've
used
never
it.
seen it in game.
Yeah,
We've never seen it in game. And I've always been intrigued to see it because to me, it's such a good AV user.
I think Token had it season 1, if I remember rightly. I've got a feeling I played it in my very first match versus him.
Yeah.
It's just a cool looking Pokemon, but I'm curious to see. I mean, Kanto will probably use this. So we're definitely seeing Phalanx this season.
Where's the Whiscash?
So
where's the Fisher?
So my only thing with this team, like I think stat wise it's great. Even type wise, you know, we've mentioned ground, but it's sometimes hard for that. The concern for me is the reliance on Trick Room. You've got Dragapult to sort of make up for it, but the fact that you only have a single Pokemon in Gothorita that can set it, it's dangerous. It's like if you've got something that can take it down, you know, like because it'll run Eviolite, so a knockoff or something like that will probably be more than enough to potentially Oko from a good
helps
Pokemon.
that it's dark as well, so that knockoff is doing
also
good damage.
Gothorita, you know, it's either Focus Sash or Aviolite, so you kind of know it's not Mental Orb, so you just taunt it. You could just taunt it as well.
That's another thing. Or an Imprison versus it. And the moment you do that, his speed is like any of his speed game is gone. You know, even a Tailwind is going to be making a lot of these Pokemon like
I think it's
average.
Going to come down to that Volcanion because I've just realized that Volcanion's a prime Assault Vest user as well.
Mm-hmm. Volcanion's great.
Thing in the rain, damn. I've never seen it used, so I'm really intrigued to see it, and I hope Kanto streams his matches because I'm going to be
such
watching.
A great move.
I'm going to be watching intently because I was looking at Firewater. What a type! What a type!
The type. We'll see it We'll see it next gen. I'm calling.
I'd love to see more of it next gen, to be honest with you. That or like Ice Fire or something like that. But that's a topic for another day, right?
Yeah.
When we do a tier list of the whole Scarlet Violet Pokédex.
No.
We have to.
We have to anyway.
And here is my favorite team in the whole draft. This is just my favorite team.
Same. And I don't want to come across as biased, but I agree with you, Seb. Not
I
best,
know Jake mentioned he doesn't like the Blastoise and he doesn't like the Aerodactyl, but Aerodactyl brought me to semifinals in the GGPL, and then they destroyed me. But
I made it to finals with it, and Seb destroyed me. so if there's any common denominator, if you want to win the CCC, don't pick Aerodactyl.
No.
Playoffs, guys.
Yeah, this is it. I think Luke will be happy getting to play. If he gets to finals and loses at that point, he'll be a happy man. We all would.
My score is very, very personal. I will give it that. But it's from again. We've had scores from previous uses before in the previous draft. We've said earlier, Blastoise I have seen and prepped and used. Don't think it's brilliant. Sylveon seen, prepped, used. It's the speed stat that's the problem. Aerodactyl basically never came in season 2, barring Brandon getting rock slided 8 times. It's just not as good as I expected it to be. But it may be not my playstyle, and I'm praying that Luke proves me wrong. Because I would love to eat my words and Luke to sit in the final with a 6.5 rating and go, screw you, Jake.
So
I also think people are gonna underestimate the Pinchurchin a lot, and it's gonna be they're gonna that thing is gonna hit a rising voltage, and everyone's gonna be like, what? You just watch. You just watch.
And it's just like, oh.
Yep.
I think that Luke said at the end of the draft, I didn't get sniped once. I think it shows. This team is, in my opinion, so well put together. Everything I feel complements one another. Like there's not necessarily combo after combo after combo, but I just feel like you've got a little bit of everything in there. You do have a few of the combos and whatnot, in particular that Pinkachin with the Zorora. That's gonna be absolutely busted.
Yeah,
If
if you don't
somebody
have
isn't ready for
Ancestors
that,
Rain,
they're gonna get swept hard. But I think that there's so many good, like Jake doesn't rate the Blastoise. I do. I think it does more than enough. I think it does have enough bulk that it can sit there and be just sit on the field, do a couple of attacks and maybe take something down with it in the process. Or it can do the fake out and the follow me. It's got enough tricks and stuff with it. The Incin, I mean, it's a friggin' Incin,
it's an insane.
right?
It's an insane.
Nothing
And it's
else
even
needed.
better in Draft League than it is in Ranked.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say, like, you go even further down the list, like you look at like the Purloin's great, but the Gallade in C tier, so it's got a lot of moves.
I'm not a big fan of it.
Okay,
One
so
reason.
I'm not on the surface, but then you start looking into what it gets, Jake, and honestly, there's a lot of things you can do with this. Do not underestimate it, anybody.
But the problem is, it's so frail on the defensive side, and you can't fix that. You chances are you're killing it before it gets anything off.
Of course, you
And
can
this
fix
is
it.
what
It's called
Devon.
Focus Sash.
This is what Devon had the problem last season in season 1 with it, because he ran it and it barely did anything. It just came in and died most of the time. You've got other Focus Sash users that are gonna. He's gonna need to sash the Aerodactyl. I will tell you that for free. Fat Aerodactyl, Luke, does not work. I've tried it. Does not work. Don't try it. I'll save you the brain power. Don't do it. It doesn't work. But he's got the Purloin. And like I say, anything can happen with Prankster. Anything can happen with Prankster.
Berlin is probably my second favorite Prankster user.
Yeah, it's really good.
I
I want
then
it.
don't
I
sleep
still
on the
want it.
I got burnt season 1 by the Haunter. It's like it's your second highest special attacking one. And I mean, the EV light on it, it turns it a little bit chunky. It can take one. And then I remember Token hitting me back with, I can't remember what it was, like a Shadow Ball or something. And bro, I did like 90%.
Most likely, yeah.
Screamed.
Yeah.
I screamed.
No, I mean, I appreciate all the kind words, and Jake, I hope to make you eat your words on Blastoise. I just realized
Please do.
Kanto, but Cantonian Pokemon. But that being said, yeah, I was really lucky. I didn't get sniped a single time. Seb saw my team right before the draft. Nothing got sniped. I think the biggest takeaway was for me was I waited to see, because I did have options for my L tier that I wasn't like too sold on, and then the fact that everyone took their L's besides Crystal, Seb, and myself within like the first 2 or 3 picks really let me build my team and pick the mons I know I needed really well. And that's the one thing I will say that's the best fun part about drafting, is this where there is a strategy behind it. And sometimes you have to take a risk, because there could have been someone that wanted 0, and like if an instant got taken before my whole team would have changed. The team was built kind of around Incineroar just being there just cause headaches, and that's what I realized, because I've been playing with Incineroar for a while, and I really, 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 really like it. And then everything else just kind of fit into place. And you guys mentioned so many other Pokemon on the team, but you forgot one little man down there at the C tier.
We haven't forgot Clyde.
No, we mentioned
Don't
Gallade in C tier, man. It's cool. We got that.
Clive
The
is
MVP
back, and
comes
he's taking heads with him. All right, he's taking heads. But yeah, this team was a lot of fun. I think this is the best team I've drafted, and I'm really, I feel like I've learned from my mistakes of being too reliant on certain strategies, and I think I have a lot of wiggle room and different strats I can bring to week to hopefully cause some headaches and take the predictability out of play style out of everyone else's hands.
Luke, you're right when you say this is the best team that you've drafted so far. It 100% is. And if you can't get into playoffs with this team, just quit. Like, because the thing is, this team is that good that I will be genuinely shocked if you don't do well with it.
I don't believe that a good team is enough to carry you through this time. It's like if someone gets their legend in the right position, you probably got no hope.
Oh yeah.
It's a good team's a good start. I'll tell you that. A good team's a good start, but it's not it's
That's all about
it's
play.
Like
it's really all it is.
If you click that follow me on the Blastoise and then someone starts setting up a nasty plot in front of you with like a Xurkitree or something, it's like, oh man, everything might die to a discharge.
If I see a Xurkitree, it just dies. It just dies before. I don't worry about it. I just kill it. I just don't.
Like Nick says, you focus, Sash.
you just kill what you need to kill and do what you got to do. We'll see. Could go.
It's all ifs and buts. It's all ifs and buts.
We'll see.
But well done, Luke.
Thank you.
A lot of people lost leaks that day.
They sure did.
I won leaks, by the way.
I
believed.
I wasn't allowed to vote.
Sniped five times. Didn't get sniped once. Eat my shorts, Jack.
And then we got
the
Phoenix.
Bridgend Barraskewdas. He has changed his
Which
name.
he's got
season.
a sick team. He does have Garchomp, which is kill leader.
Yep.
On the CCC.
Is it really?
It's still good. Yep, it's Garchomp. Something Kangaskhan. Yeah, Excadrill Kangaskhan.
Man, I love this team.
I don't think Phoenix got sniped too many times. I think he got almost what he wanted. He didn't get the Thunderous he wanted, but I think he got the better one in his case.
Mm-hmm.
I think this Thunderous fits his team better.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to agree with that. Yeah.
He has traded the Colossal for like a Rock Midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great pick. Yeah.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I don't know a lot about these mons. I know that Joel used a Meowstic against me, and he didn't focus sash it, so it died. I've seen Luke use the Hitmontop, and I was going to pick the Hitmontop this season. Just didn't have my B tiers available. Scizor is always great if you can get it in the rain, and he has a rain setter in Meowstic. Clefable I've never used before, but from what I've seen with Phoenix,
really
it's very high offensive, Life Orb, no Life Orb damage. The first three are just all out power. Golduck is great for Cloud9.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that because I think there's a lot of weather teams this season, and Golduck is going to be like secret tech. Not so secret, but you know.
We've just blown it. If you weren't doing your prep right.
Sorry, Phoenix.
Tangler is also great. I think Tangler is actually amazing. Better than Tangrowth in a way. The value in the D tier compared to the A tier. And then Berserker's just...
I hate that Pokemon. Man. I just have to say it. I hate that Pokemon.
That ability is just too much. It's just too much. I think Phoenix has got a very good team. I don't think... The problem is I just don't think it synergizes very well. The type chart is very, very, very good.
It's amazing.
Possibly
the best one out of everybody.
I think it is.
There's a lot of 4 times weaknesses in there, so you know there's the four times weaknesses, which isn't great.
Mm-hmm.
2. Well, he's got rid of 2 of them.
He has. And okay, fair enough then.
I mean, this goes back just to show. I think this was the quickest draft we've ever had, by far. I mean, anything beats season 1's first draft, but like season 2 was a little like over 2 hours. This one was like done in less than 2. Like everyone drafted so well that again I preface this by saying there isn't a bad team on here, and everything has been picked really well. A lot of these things do synergize really, really well. Phoenix has done a great job. I think this is one of my favorite teams of his, and Phoenix has just grown and grown as a player from the start of the CCC, and it's just done so well that I am literally extremely proud of Phoenix, and I can't wait. I think this is a finals team now that he's fixed a Colossal and it's all up to him. Just
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see him play. Phoenix, get yourself a capture card, my guy. I need to see it from your perspective.
Yes.
We'd love to. We'd love to.
I'll tell the same to Jack as well, because I need to see it from his perspective as well. But yeah, I don't think Phoenix got snapped too many times. It's a really good team. You look at his drafting, and he basically just followed the tier list down.
Yeah.
Tangler's better than Golduck, so he has literally just gone down and picked next. And I think that goes to show that how Phoenix has drafted, like his plan was set out, it was ready. I know he had like 9 teams or something. He knew, like, he didn't even have to think if something went. And it's reflected in the team he's got. I mean,
it's good. It's solid. Like, there's a lot of different options you can do with this. I know, looking at those boxes we've mentioned before, he's got plenty of priority options, which is always nice to have. And just overall, the stats are like they're above average, right? Which I think is, if the final result is everything is above average, you're not upset.
He's got a good start. He's got a good start, and we know that Phoenix can come up with some good strats. And I mean, he came up unlucky season 1. Again, unlucky season 2 in playoffs. This could be his season, man. It just takes the right mons and the right run. And I mean, look at me in season 2. I just got the right run through, man. It's like I got Joel, which I had a good matchup against. I had Jack, which I had a good matchup against, and then I came up against Seb. Once you get into those playoffs, it's just it's which side you're on and which team you come up against. And this team has got enough coverage for pretty much anything. So I can't see Phoenix making too many more trades. Maybe a couple of team trades.
Possibly.
Just don't get greedy this season, Phoenix. Don't trade when you. I know that trades are really exciting and you want to get new mons and you want to use new mons, but just don't get a bit greedy this season. I think me and Phoenix both suffered last season. We got greedy on the trades. Keep your team, keep it simple, and I think you'll do well this season, my guy. Just keep plowing on. You've got the facilities there, big man.
Oh yeah.
So, somebody's mentioned the ability, by the way, down on Berserker. Like, personally, I really like the double technician on Hitman Top and Scissor. Like, that's got some scary ramifications to it.
Both priority abusers as well. So priority technician abusers. That damage counts. That extra 20% counts.
It's extra 50%, isn't it?
Well, you're talking like on fake outs and stuff. It's like you're not going. Well, 20, I should say like the extra, power. Like 20 power.
Sorry.
No, you're correcting me. You are correct. But yeah, very good job, Phoenix, and good luck with the new team name. Carry it to the top.
Yeah.
Let's go Phoenix.
And then we got Brandon.
Oh, Brandon.
We love it.
Which is, I just can't see what synergizes with what and what he was trying to go for. T-Tar is great, but, you don't really have a solid trick room setter or trick room, way to deal with it, or take the fighting weakness off, with like Goregeist or something like that. I don't know. Durant, I love Durant. It's just like you better hit 80% accurate moves. Which we already saw in game 1. It might be a mistake. But I don't know.
It's tough. This team is I mean, we must say no, he has traded the Mew out. He has now got a Landorus.
Yeah.
Firion? Landorus Firion.
No,
yes.
Not Firion. Incarnate.
Firion
is banned.
Yeah. Lando Incarnate. So the one with Sand Force and Sand something or other Rush.
Yeah. Okay. So that works a little better. That works a little better.
Sheer Force and Sand Force. That's what it gets. So that makes it a lot better with the T-Tar. But it just doesn't help. The thing, what Brandon's going to struggle with is now he's got the Lando in there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 4s. and 3 of them are coming from your A, S, and L. That's not good. That's not good. I'm panicking, and I've got 2x4s in my A and in my A's. Like, I'm real panicking. It's like every week I'm struggling to cover for this. It's like I need defensive options that you can't cover for. I'm sorry, you can't. Nick's pulling a face.
No, it's all right. So, like, I think what I'd like to see in this, I agree with you about the ×4 weaknesses. That they are a major problem. Granted, one of them is like is D tier, and you can sort of discount that. But what I think this team really needs is either something with fake out or follow me. Once you've got, Luke knows it, right? Once you've got that, you can then start to either abuse some of the absolute brutal power that is actually on this team, okay, or you can start doing the very Brandon thing of setting up in your face, right? But you need something to allow you to do that. And at the moment, he doesn't have it. I think the best thing he's got is an ally switch on the Garde of War, which is not really where you want to be with it.
Ally switching a Guard of War.
No, I think that is the linchpin to be able to take this team from being average, because 5 is average. 5 isn't bad, right? Everything that's 5 or above, I would consider average or above, right? If you're below 5, that's where you need to worry. But there's nothing that stands out on this team. However, the moment you've got that wiggle room to start using some of the actual stuff you've got, that's when you can start really putting in some top tier performances and that. And I think on the surface the team looks fine, but it just doesn't work in its current composition. That Cryogonal, I'm sorry, it's doing nothing. I know he loves it, but I'm sorry, bin it off. There's plenty of fake out users in D tier, right? It's an easy pickup, and that's all you need to do for you then to start picking up some wins and that.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail.
Go on, Luke. It's okay.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. This team, it on paper, you look at the mons on there, you're like, okay, like you got good mons. There's no synergy, and you don't have any moves to really help you out. You, like Nick said, you need. There's always like 2 things you look for when you're drafting Pokemon, and on a team, you want to make sure you have fake out, because it just provides help. It just helps you. Like you need a fake out. Follow me helps you as well. But like fake out, like not having a fake out user on your team when there are so many. Yes, you can trade one, but again, like Nick said, we love the Cryogonal. We love it, Brandon. We love that you're so loyal to it. But there are so many more options than the Cryogonal that you could have taken. And it's just this team, you have great mons, but they just don't synergize well together other than the T-Tar and the Landorus. And again, there's ×4 weaknesses and a lot of your top hard-hitting picks, and it's not great. Now you can fix it, which is the best thing about having so many trades, is we've given you guys all these trades that you can work with. You can work to fix your team. This team can be fixed. But get yourself a fake out user. Yeah, get a fake out user, get a follow me user. You can fix this team, but it needs some help, but you definitely have the building parts to fix it. And that's really where it is. But you need to have some more utility. Your boxes in the bottom they make me sad. They make me very sad. That's about it.
No, I think you just need to just take the DTs out of the equation, because they're very situational. I think the main target now is the Center Scorch. It's got to go. It's got to go. You've got the bug type. You need a better fire type than the Center Scorch. And there's probably others out there. Or you need something with access to fire. Durant, I just want to say, Brandon, bring the Truant Durant one week. Just do it. Why it gets hidden ability Truant is why. But no, yeah, I think number one criminal here is the Center Scorch. You've got the bug typing. You need a better fire type than that, and there's others out there. One thing I will say is that Mandibuzz is solid. Like
Yeah.
that Mandibuzz, if there's people might say the Hinchpin is Gardevoir. In fact, I think the Hinchpin is Mandibuzz. He struggled week 1 because I had answers to it, but if you do not have answers to that Mandibuzz, you are going to suffer a lot.
Oh yeah.
The fact that thing gets foul play as well, which is you more than likely are going to hit it with some physical attack. He doesn't even have to invest to hit you hard back. And a Brave Bird slaps you, and he's probably more than likely getting a Tailwind off. And or Roost. So I will not. The thing is with this team, it had a bad week 1 matchup. This team under the surface does actually play well. And I had a lot of problems prepping for it, even just in its current state with Mew. And I didn't even really look at Mew. Mew could do everything, but I didn't really look at it. This team will take scalps. It's just, it needs to be given time, and Brandon needs to maybe just give it a bit more time into the prep and not stick to a single strat that he might think is work. You need to think it through and have a look at what the opposition's going to do to you, just not what you're going to do to it. And then I think this team will definitely take lives. He's got good. He's in a good spot this season. It's better than last season. I'll tell you that for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a good start. It's a good start. And
this
again,
is easily fixable.
Yeah.
What I would say is get that Center Scorch out and probably put a Rotom Mow in there, and you're sound. Oh my god! Right, so everyone else's score was based on this team because I scored this top, so everyone else was this and down. It's like,
I mean, can we all say that this team? Yeah, well, I mean, I'll speak for the majority here. This team is amazing. Oh my good golly god! It is. It's so freaking good. Nick gave it a 10. I mean, I can't give anything a 10 because there's nothing perfect. But man, if this thing is not the closest thing to perfect there is, I cannot even start. I literally wrote down for this team, it's great. It's almost perfect. My only issue is you need the Melmetal is great. When I was going against it, obviously, again, not with a week of prep, but it wasn't that much of a threat as much as I thought it was. So I don't think Melmetal might not have been the best legend, but for this team specifically, it fits, and there's nothing wrong with taking a Melmetal in this position because that thing will hurt you, and so will most of this team. This team is a headache. It's going to be hard to prep for. It covers all the bases. It's so good, and every single pick tier is solid, and in my opinion, some of the best in their respective tiers.
It's just so well rounded. I feel like she did a good job, even though she picked Kloitzer. I think it was her first pick, not her second. Now that I think about it,
it was first. Yeah, we were so confused.
It didn't matter because she picked 1 and 2 next to each other.
She was 16.
Yeah, but I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's just so well rounded. I love it.
For me, there's 2 things wrong with it: Blissey and the Impidimp. And I don't want to say that if you look at my team, you look at my score, it's a 9. Bear in mind, no one else got above a 9 in my scores. So this is the creme de la creme. It's just, if the Blissey and the Impidimp were there, I feel like she could get much more. I mean, I understand why the Impidimp is there. But I don't understand why the Blissey is there. Because
I've never liked that evolution line. She's
got the utility she needs. I mean, you always bring the top 4. The top 4 are just synergy wise. It's just it's so good. But if you take the Blissey out and maybe put another thing that can just abuse the top 4, maybe something with beat up. So, justified. Something with justified in C tier. Or something that could benefit from the Raichu Follow Me. Or maybe set up some sort of terrain. Well, she's got the Rilla, so you don't want to take the terrain off. I don't know. I mean, if she'd have got a Sneasel in there, that'd have been it. That'd have been it. It'd be like 10 out of 10. But Luke had his hand up. Go on, Luke.
Did I? Oh, I was.
I thought you put your hand up.
No. That's a great team. Nick, what do you think, man? You gave it.
Okay.
You gave it the 10, man. You gave it the 10.
Right. So I'll start off. I read out what I wrote down for Scott. I'm going to read out what I wrote down for this. Now, bear in mind, I've been so busy. The first time I looked at this was earlier today, and I looked at it and I worked out what it had got, and I'd gone through them all in order. So I came to this one last, and I just stared at it. And what I have written down is, just bonkers. I don't want to play it. That's it. Right?
So
Yeah.
thank you.
So I've scored it a 10. Now, arguably, I will agree with Jake about the Blissey, but that's because I don't actually know what it does. I think it does a soft boiled, and after that, I've got no idea. However, I think you could take the Blissey out. It could just be 9 Pokemon, and it would still be a 10. You've got Fletchinder and Impidimp. Just do all the utility in the world, and then everything above there is just so potentially broken and work together beautifully. Scrafty is great. Chloritza I've never really used, but I know it has like a lot
She
of
ran it
power. I
last
think
season, right?
It ripped my soul out of my body.
Yeah,
what
she
the
did.
Chloritza.
Yeah.
What does
Yeah.
Mega Launcher do, by the
It
way?
gets Mega
It just-
Launcher, I think, which just means
Yeah.
like there's
It makes
certain
every
moves.
every pulse move. I think what hit times like it's 1.5 more extra damage or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It makes it makes a dark pulse water pulse take you from 75 to one hit kill. It's
yeah,
really
it's things like that, right? It's just bonks, and with that already stupidly high special power, it's great. Arcanine, Rillaboom, and then the Melmetal on top. This is, I think, the team to beat. If you can pick up a win versus this, you've done exceptionally well. And this team, I have no doubt, because Crystal's a good player as well, will get to playoffs, and I could see this team
Probably going all the way.
going all the way, getting to finals, winning finals. Like, obviously, playoffs, it does only take one loss, right? And I think it's going to take some god unholy force to stop this monstrosity. But if someone can tell me what is wrong with this team and why it shouldn't get a 10, then I don't know. Like, this is just, I couldn't fault it. I could not fault it.
The fact that she picked Melmetal 7th.
Yeah.
Everyone left it. Like, we were all sleeping on it. God knows why. Like, we knew it was there, but I think everyone just kind of presumed it was going to get picked, so never planned for it, right?
Do not
that's gotta be
sleep
the only
on
case.
that Reuniclus.
nope.
No.
Nope.
That
No,
Reuniclus.
not
I
at
looked
all.
at that long and
That thing
hard.
scares me. Like like Nick said, I don't want to play this team. I might just, be like, oh no, my grandma passed away. I don't think I can. I
Well,
don't think I can
God
play
forbid.
this.
God forbid. You know,
Well,
here's
they're-
another
they're-
excuse.
No,
Yeah.
it's so
so
good.
good,
The top 4 is so good. Like Arcanine in itself takes so much killing. You just assault vest Rillaboom. The Raichu's providing the follow me, so you can't hit it. And then everyone knows that Double Iron Bash just
kills.
will kill you.
Yeah,
It will kill you.
It's just so good. So, what do you think, man?
No, it's just so well rounded, man. It's just like one thing complements the other. I mean, yeah, I guess I don't know what Blissey does, but like Fletchinder, she wants to go Tailwind. Oh, let's go Tailwind,
Yeah.
It's just I just love it. I just love it. I think yours is my favorite team, but this is the most well-rounded team, I think.
That I completely
100%.
agree with you, Seb.
Yeah.
So, I think in terms of top-rated teams, there's this one. Then there's mine. Thank you all, guys. You've pumped up my ego through the roof. I think did Jack get 3rd?
Hang on.
And then
Hold on.
Luke.
Let's
then
have a look
Joel.
at it.
Oh no, Nick got 8.67.
Oh wow. Okay. Cheers, guys.
I mean, I mean, I think again,
Way to set me up for a fall.
I'm just trying to figure out how we've rated the leagues. I'm just trying to think which league got more than
Ooh, that's interesting.
the others. Crown has a 7.73 average, and an Armor has 6.95. So I was right in my instincts telling me that the Crown had drafted better than Armor.
Yeah, so
Yep.
I'm just looking here in the top 5 rated teams. You've got first is Crown, second is Armor, and then it's third is Crown, fourth is Crown, fifth is Crown. Okay, the ratings we've given. So out of the top 5, 4 of them are from Crown.
So I'm really happy to be in Armor.
Yeah, notably, Jake is that one that's also from Armor in the top 5, right? So you should be loving life right now, Jake.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think I said I think we could all have like a final word of our teams. My final word on my team, as my personal opinion, is it's going to be very hard for me. It's not my play style to play with this team. It will probably suit someone like Seb much more than it would do me. So it's going to take a lot of learning.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot of learning for me to do, and I probably will come, barring like the week I battle Seb, I'll probably be calling on him to help me more than most. But no, I'm excited. I think the big inspiration was the night after the draft when me and Nick and Jack was playing Trick Room on Ladder.
Oh my god, that was brilliant. That's a whole other thing, but yeah.
That taught me a lot in terms of what this team could do. But yeah, overall, everyone gave me a 9. I'd give my team from my perspective a 7. What about you, Seb? What about your team? Your personal opinion on your team?
I'm overall happy with my team. I feel like even though it's not what I really planned, and even though I have like, they're not really dead Pokemon because they're still useful Pokemon. I feel like I could make it work. I got some trades planned. Unfortunately, they're all team trades, so I gotta convince other people.
You're pretty good at that, right?
Yeah, we saw that last
God,
guys, don't fall for it. If Seb comes calling and asking for stuff, just like really think about it before you do it.
I've already asked.
If you don't get me kicked,
people. But the thing is, I think I can make it work. I I got some shenanigans planned. And I think I still got a solid team. I got a solid team.
Team rating on your side, Seb?
I'd say like a 7.5 or something like that.
Okay.
Nick? Yeah, I'll be happy with that.
So, I overall, I didn't know how my team was going to come out. I'm not upset with it. Like, I think I was shooting for something that was a little outside my comfort zone to an extent, in my original plan of what I wanted to draft. What I've ended up with, because I was doing it on the fly, is a lot more the sort of thing that I'm used to. And as a result, that probably is going to end up working in my favor. I'm not unhappy. I think there's definitely a couple of trades that I want to make to get it to where I want it to be. Some stuff I didn't fully think through on the night because I was panicking a little bit. But overall, I'm happy with where it is. I think there's definitely things that I can do with it. And if you want a number, I would say probably like 7.5. I'd be reluctant to give it an 8 because I know that it's not where I want it to be just yet. But I think 7.5 would be realistic for it, for personally.
Right, Luke, you've got to give yourself a 10 because you didn't get sniped. So
I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, it's very rare. I'll point out, it's very rare in your draft that you don't get sniped. Super rare.
I think
like
I drafted like an awful team in season 1 and I got sniped.
Yeah, no. So I mean, I mean, if you're looking for a score personally, I think it's a solid 8 because again, when you're doing your team building, you're building the best team that you can build, and then you're hoping they're all there. Luckily, all my mons were there, So I mean, in my opinion, I think it's a solid 8, and I think I'm happy with it because these mons do kind of fit my playstyle. I mean, we've seen what I've done can do with the Pincurchin and the Zeraora. You know, it's not hard to use in Cineroar at all. You know, it's just it's, you give it 4 moves. You know, 2 of them are gonna be fake out and parting shot, and 2 moves or whatever
Flare
you want.
Blitz.
Flare Blitz
Yeah.
and Darkest Lariat.
Darkest
Like it
Lariat.
gets 4 moves, you know. But you know, that's the thing. Like it's a good team, and luckily I just didn't get sniped, and I feel like I just picked the right mods at the right times, and I was lucky. And you know, barring if I got sniped, it could have been a whole different type of team. And you know, it just goes to show that but you know, you get what you get. You're happy with what you have, but you still got to play your matches. And that's the thing for me. Is like I might have Seb's favorite team and a really highly rated team, but I still got to play my matches. I still need to get my W's. I still need to make playoffs this season. So
You can do this, man.
I'm not. If I don't make playoffs, I'm gone. But
You're doing it the hard. No, you got the CCDC. You might never make CCC ever again.
yeah, I know. I got the CCDC, so then I got to qualify to be in a draft league that I help run. But hey, that's okay. No, but overall, I mean, I'm happy with my team, and again, just drafting itself. The draft is always fun. Again, Jake mentioned power rankings. Don't take our scores to heart, man.
No.
Again, we're looking at everything based on paper. Only one game's been played by the time we're recording this. Like everything can change on a dime. You know, all it takes is a couple trades, and everyone's team can be fixed or made worse.
You know it's going to come to the last week. Know it's going to come to the last week.
It's going to be neck and neck. Week 7s are always the most stressful times of all CCCs. So you guys just play your games. Prep. Please find prepping partners if you can. Turn in your poker paste for the love of God. I'm only just saying that because that's the one thing that we're worried about.
I've done mine early because
any one of us, okay? Any one of us, it's fine to
everyone you see on the stream. Just give us, just send it to whoever you think is more handsome. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Send it to all of us.
Yeah,
send it to all of us.
Yeah,
there's more chance of it going up on time.
Yeah. But yeah, as season 3 is officially underway, guys, and power rankings are up, and now it's time to play our matches. And good GG, no hacks.
GG, no hacks. Good luck to everyone.
Yeah. Good luck indeed. I think everyone's going to need it this season. Bye all.